Hi, this is Rod, your real estate guru, and our topic for today is offers. So you've decided to sell your home, you prepared your home, you cleaned it up, you got the curb appeal rocking, and you have lots of interest in your home. And now in this wildly hot market, you have received many offers. You're sitting on maybe 3 to 10 offers uh, in all forms, and you're wondering, how do you review these offers? What do you do with them next? And my goodness sakes, what do you accept? Because at the end of the day, you want this thing to close so you can move on to your next dream home or wherever you're headed with the sale of this home. So our question today is how to deal with multiple offers when you're selling your home yourself. Well, the first cut, number one, first cut is, do you actually have a real offer in your hand? I know this sounds so simple, but let me assure you, as the real estate guru, you need to be holding the offer in your hand. And I mean, it could be electronically, but they have sent it to you. You actually have an offer. Real estate is one of those things we call under the statute of frauds. Under the statute of frauds, all real estate sales and offers and acceptances, all that kind of thing, must be in writing. Verbal offers are meaningless. Let me tell you, as an owner of a brokerage, principal broker of our brokerage, and attorney, offers must be in writing. Now, you probably knew that, and that's wonderful. But I just want to press on this point. I visit people that are selling their home regularly, and I say, "Well, how's it going? How can I help?" They say, "Well, we already have 4 offers." I said, "That's wonderful. In what form? What do they look like?" "Well, Johnny told me he's giving me an offer, and Mary Sue said they're giving offers, and Billy said they're giving offers. All they have are verbals. These aren't offers. These might be a supposal. Suppose I made an offer. What do you think of this?" But they're not really offers until you're holding something that you can sign and accept or make a counter offer to. At that point, you're not holding anything unless you're actually physically hold it in your hand or in your inbox, your email inbox. Okay. Oregon does allow, by the way, for digital signatures. So that makes things a little bit easier in case you want to use one of the many programs out there that allow for digital signatures. Be careful with them. Not every program is a perfected digital signature program. But if you want to use one of those in Oregon, you're just fine. Washington as well. You're allowed to use digital signatures. So let's say you have your multiple offers and they are in hand. And now you actually have them. That is wonderful. The next cut is to think about, are they actually an offer? Once again, we're taking it from the simplest parts of the cut to the most difficult. First is, do you have an offer at all? An actual offer. And next is, so number 2, do you actually have an offer? So what you need to do is take a look at the offer language. So offers can come in lots of ways. They don't all come in from a realtor in the standardized contractual format. They can be a purchased contract. They could be a written contract by the person themselves. People are allowed to write a contract. They can send you in. So it certainly is going to be missing many of the pieces that we would recommend for protection on both sides. But they certainly can write something. There's even a nice legal case we're not going to go over today about someone writing a contract on a bar napkin, and that being legal, and the court held that up. So it is possible, and at that point, there's a lot of assumptions that are going to come into play. So I would suggest, please don't do that. At least purchase a contract and find out about it and read through it. Don't skip over things. Don't make assumptions inside there. So our number 2 piece is, do you actually have an offer? Read down through. Are they actually offering to buy your house? Or are they saying something like, if I like it, I'll buy it? Now, this is illusory language. This is an allusion to a contract. If I like it, after I walk through it in a week, when I get in town, if I like it, I'll buy it. Now, there's a lot of offers that come across the table like this because people are busy. The weather is beautiful. People are back to traveling. I'm so thankful for that. But if it comes across it, they have to walk through it. And if they like it, they'll buy it. You don't have a contract at all. So if you accept that one, you aren't really accepting a contract. You're accepting an illusion. You're accepting at best a maybe. So be careful when you read through as to what the people want. So that's number 2. Number 3, you will want to take a look at the terms. What are the terms? When do they plan to pay you? How do they plan to pay you? What are the down payment? What's the earnest money? So earnest money in a real estate contract is considered the liquidated damages. Let me talk about that for a second. So you're the seller and you're reviewing all these offers. There is no rule as to how much earnest money has to be. I will tell you, a lot of people think of earnest money being 1% of the purchase price, 2%, 3%. Some people have set amounts that they just like to offer something with, like $500, $1,000, $10,000. It really depends. This is to be negotiated between you and the buyer. They have offered something. Part of that offer is the earnest money. The earnest money is part of the purchase price. So, for example, if they're offering a total of $400,000 and they're offering earnest money of $5,000, well, then that $5,000 would be part of the $400,000, not on top of. It'd be part of it. So this is promise money that I would like you to take your home off the market. I'm giving you, let's just say it's $5,000 for our sake of conversation. I'm giving you $5,000 in earnest. We're going to put it probably at a title company to be held. And while they're holding this money, the buyer will have the right to do inspections or whatever else, what other contingencies they have inside this contract, which are other elements we're yet to get to. So it can be very complicated once you start getting offers in and accepting the correct one. So the terms, back to the general box of the terms, because the terms don't necessarily all come in the same paragraph. They might be scattered throughout this contract, so you really need to take time and read it. This is, of course, where help with a professional that is used to looking for all the terms can be very important. So, number 1, total price. Number 2, earnest money, down payment. What kind of loan product are they getting? This can be very important because different loan products have different requirements for your home. When do they plan to close? That's a nice term. I mean, wouldn't it be nice to close your deal in 21 days, 30 days, 45 days, ever? I mean, some things have a submitted offer of we'll close in 6 months. Well, the offer price looked awful nice, but do you really want to wait 6 months? I doubt it. Not in this market. Now, that's a little rare, but can you imagine you accepted an offer and you denied the other offers on the table, but you didn't look at that little clause saying they have a home in Alaska that they have to fly back up there, prepare and sell, and it's contingent upon the sale of another property. You've got to look at all the contingencies as part of the terms of the offer. All the contingencies play a role into the terms of what is happening. Closing dates, inspection periods, and the rights that they will have to come and go and inspect and look at this property, on and on and on. Also, as part of the terms, what types of inspections do they plan to do to the home? This may give you some alarm or alert depending on your property. How many things are they looking for? Typical inspections? Or are they also wanting to add all of the sewer lines, which often can be a good idea to add sewer lines? It just really depends. If you have concerns of these things, though, you may even want to have an inspection of your own done in advance, so you know what you're looking at. Sewer lines that have sat there for 30 years often will have root problems. Even though the sewer line is working for you at this point in time, it often can have problems that are just looming and waiting for somebody. And they can put a camera down on the sewer line and find these things. And yes, they're repairable, but at a cost for sure. So number 3 is we're looking for terms. All the terms of the contract itself. Number 4, and this could have come early on or later, you always want to check for this. Are there signatures on this contract? Did they send it to you with every page having its little initials and all the signatories? Did they say how they're taking title? Is this an LLC taking title? Is it a human taking title? Is it a dog taking title? You're certainly going to want to know how they're taking title, because it's not going to close unless it is established how somebody's actually taking title. Now you don't overly care too much how they take title or who takes title, but it has to eventually be established how that's going to happen and who's getting it, or the deal won't close. So title, another big deal. So now you've wheedled these things down to maybe 3 offers that are of great interest to you. They all seem to have their signatories on them. They all have interesting and competing contingencies and dates. How do you move forward at that point? Now becomes the big analysis. We've done the easy cuts. The bigger analysis is not just price. Everybody, I don't think I've met anybody yet, 20 years, that's ever said, oh, let's ignore price to begin with. Let me encourage you to ignore price to begin with. I know that price is a big factor. It is for me too. I'm not a wealthy person. Price is a big factor. But let's look at everything else first. Do you have a letter from a lender? Unless they're doing cash, which you need something different, do you have a letter from a lender pre-approving them for each of these offers? If it's cash, do you have a proof of funds? Now, hopefully they didn't send over their bank ledger with all the account numbers to you, but there are nice ways to get a proof of funds from a bank. Someone may have their banker write a letter and certify it that the person has the funds to purchase the home. In one way or another, your first cut on your final ones you're looking at should be proof of funds or a lender approval pre-qualification letter. That's your first of the final cuts. Because you don't want to pick something that someone can't close the deal. That is not a good idea. In fact, it's a poor idea. So your first of the final cuts is pre-qualifications. Your second of the final cuts, so first, pre-qualifications. Your second piece of the final cuts is, what are the closing dates and the contingencies? We're going to look back again at contingencies and closing dates. We did an initial cut to make sure things were just valid and they weren't illusory, and that we actually had something on the table. Now we're going to look back again at contingencies and see, what are they really asking? For example, they may have said, house $400,000, earnest money $5,000, boat to be included, boat in the garage to be included. This does happen. And maybe you don't mind if you include the boat or your Jaguar inside the garage. Maybe that's not necessarily a big meaningful thing to you. However, it might be, and you really should know what they're asking to be included in this. Or as a contingency, do they need to sell a home first? Now, this is big because it happens all the time. Now you need to go back and check if that offer rises now to the top and they need to sell something first. Number one, have they put the home up for sale yet? Do they have if it is, do they have a current accepted offer on it? And on that accepted offer, is it scheduled to close soon? Because people that do this, and there's a lot of them, because most of us can afford one home at a time. The ones that do this probably need their home to close before they can purchase your home. So you need to ask for what are the closing dates of that home. Or does the language say that your home will not close until 5-10 days, whatever it is, after the closing of their home? Well, this is important language to know about, and something certainly that you're going to want to have on the table. Finally, you've got you've gotten down to 2 or 3 down here, and you're really interested in this particular one, and you'd like to move forward on it. But there's a couple problems with it, and like a closing date. Instead of 60 days, you'd like to have a 45-day closing date, and you want to make an adjustment to that. If you send back across an adjustment to the closing date, that is called a counter offer. You've got to know this. All counter offers completely destroy and kill the first offer. So by doing this, you are denying the first offer, and you are then countering and saying, yes, I will sell you my house under all the terms you have in that contract, except I want to move the closing date to 45 instead of 60 days. Well, this is really an important point here. Counter offers kill the initial offer. Let me explain that further. You can't go back and say, after you submit this to them, you can't go back and say, oh, forget what I said, I'll accept your 60 days. You have destroyed their offer by counter offering. Now, they might look at yours and say, you know what, that's just fine, no problem, we can do 45 days. But if they say no, they can actually leave it at no, I don't accept your 45-day offer, and they can walk away at that point. There is no revival, there's no automatic revival of their offer. Their offer was what it was when it came in. And for them, it was all the terms in that 60-day closing. You counter offered to move the closing date. The change of closing date is a counter offer that destroys the initial offer. So whatever you change, you must consider that you are making a counter offer. And at that point, you are not accepting their contract. Many people say, well, I accepted everything else except that. That is called a counter offer. And counter offer puts you in the offering position and them in the offeree position. And at that point, they can decide whether they want to move forward or not. Otherwise, the offer is dead. So looking at mini offers, there's lots to consider. I would love to speak with you about it. Make comments here about offers that you've received, interesting counter offers that you've made, and interesting contingencies. Put notes down here to this video. By the way, I would love to have it if you would like my video, and also subscribe to my channel at realestateguru.com. That's your-realestateguru.com. It's a YouTube channel. Would love to have you subscribe, and I'd love to talk to you about reviewing offers. Take care. I'm Rod, your real estate guru. Bye-bye.